Hello everyone, it is I Angry Born. Today, I'm going to go over every single Angry Birds plush I have in the category I deem Angry Birds Classic. And as you can see, there's quite a few of them. So without further ado, let's begin. So starting off, we have an 8-inch Red, who was my very first Angry Birds plush. Pretty cool, gotta say. I originally thought this was Terrence because of just its size, I guess. But a few years later, I did figure out it was Red, so, I got it right in the end. Anyway, moving on, we have an 8-inch Blue, and then we have an 8-inch Chuck. If you can tell by now, most of my Angry Birds plushes are 8 inches. 8-inch Bomb, 8-inch Matilda, 8-inch Hal, and 8-inch Foreman Pig, as you can see right there. Now on the second row, we have an 8-inch Terrence, another 8-inch Blue, an 8-inch Bubbles, and if you didn't know by now, Bubbles is my favorite Angry Birds character, so I hold this one very dear to me. Now these two, of Bomb and Matilda, aren't necessarily part of the original plush set, but technically they're still Angry Birds classic characters, so I thought to include them. They came from this promotion in like a pizza restaurant in like the mid-2010s, and they were also using Angry Birds on the Run, so there's a little trivia for you. And then we have an 8-inch Stella. On the third row, we have a 6-inch Terrence, which is the one I actually got before the 8-inch one, so yeah, there's that. And then we have King Pig. Now, you might be wondering, where's his crown? Well, bit of a story about that. When I was younger, as the stupid child I once was, I tore the crown off of King Pig and lost it. So, yeah, not ideal, but you can still tell it's him because of the eye shape. Anyway, we have my third 8-inch Blue, just to complete the trio. Then we have a puffed up Bubbles, who, ironically, is smaller than the 8-inch one, which is interesting. Then we have Corporal Pig. And then we have a Minion Pig keychain. Speaking of keychains, I forgot to mention these two earlier, but I have a keychain Red and a keychain Chuck, so there you go. Now onto the fourth row, we have a big Minion Pig, or Mega Pig as I like to call him. Then I have a 12-inch Blue, which I was not anticipating to get for Christmas, but you know what, I think it's pretty cool. And then we have a Redbird pillow. Pretty odd, I might say, but I think it's a nice little accessory. And then I have another 8-inch Red. And then finally, we've got the Big Mighty Eagle. And if you didn't see the thumbnail, yes, it's worth over £500. But fun little story, I actually only got it for £5. Because long story short, my grandparents and neighbours had this just chilling in their house, and the rest is history. So yeah, pretty cool to have one of these, since they're pretty rare across the whole world. And there you go, those are all of my Angry Birds classic plushes. In the next video I'll go over the ones I have for Angry Birds Seasons, which will be a lot shorter than this one, since there are very few ones in that set I've got. But anyway, yeah, subscribe for more. I'll see you next time.